Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm Reverend Davis. I'm the Ward 4 council member here, representing you on the town council. I want to take a moment to express my commitment in serving you and our community. We're hosting this meaningful town hall endeavor that you have an opportunity to provide some dialogue on issues that matter to you most, that ensure that all of your voices will be heard. This endeavor was created, the thought process of our president of the council, Don Evatello, who felt that we needed to have some more dialogue and transparency within the town of Easton. So we're here tonight that we can provide some information to you and then offer you an opportunity to ask some questions. Sure. Leave season has started and for Public Works, and it runs through January. Please rake your leaves out to the curb, but not into the street. Leaves in the street clog the drains and block the storm passages and can damage the street sweepers and pollute our waterways. Leaves must be bagged from February to mid-October. If you prefer to bag your leaves, once you bag them, leaves can be scheduled for pickup through our bulk pickup. It's vital and important that we make sure that we follow those rules because it helps our community. East Avenue storm drain project. We have a new 48-inch pipe, increases the water flow by more than 3 times the amount. All of this is expected to be completed by December 2025. This project here has 2,100 feet of new storm drain installed underground to reduce the flooding in areas. It supplements the existing brick infrastructure that's over 100 years old. I'm proud to say tonight, out of the 2,100 feet, we've already completed 1,900 feet. So this project is moving forward and will reduce all the flooding in some of the areas within our town. We are Better Grow, groundbreaking. This is a new a business that broke ground September the 16th at the Mistletoe Hall Commerce Business Park. Better Grow manufactures animal nutrition, nutrient products and supplements. This is our first U.S. manufacturing facility. This first commercial operation in Mistletoe is expected to open July 2026. So we're moving forward with having businesses in our industrial park, and this is one of those. We're also excited to announce that we have a new emergency service training campus. It's a state-of-the-art training campus that will serve the town of Easton Fire Department and emergency services, law enforcement, and paramedic. It will serve all of our first responders in the region here. I like this project because we got all of our first responders coming to our area to get training, and so our firefighters do not have to travel a long distance to get training. We bring training here to Easton. 10 o'clock Saturday morning will be the groundbreaking ribbon cutting for this project. We're excited about this. This fire department training will train in firefighter skills, motor vehicle, fire and extraction. We will have law enforcement training there also, including security with our canines. This will be an all-around facility for all of our first responder personnel. This here project that we've been working diligently on, and we know that it will bring a lot of people to the town of Easton, and we're grateful that our firefighters do not have to travel 3 or 4 hours a night and then come back late at night for training. We start the training right here. It's important. The new hospital, $550 million project, 122 licensed bed private rooms, 27 treatment bays, 25 short-stay locations. This 6-level main building with the helipad, this will be state-of-the-art regional hospital here for the town of Easton, and it's much needed. I believe it's much needed. A lot of good work is going into this hospital, and it is slated to be open in the summer of 2028. In the summer of 2028, we've been having, the mayor has been having conversations with the hospital personnel, giving us updates periodically on where they are. We are working also on traffic light upgrades. This project will see every one of our town traffic signals upgraded, total of 14. The project totals $1.3 million, which will be entirely funded by the ARPA funds secured by the town. It makes the traffic signals both safer and more efficient, and will significantly reduce our wait times at the intersection. That's good news, because if you've ever been at the intersection, we have to wait for a period of time to even cross over. The work is underway, and it's expected to continue into 2026 until the intersections are complete. The Visitor Center, we're working on the new Visitor Center, the new improved Visitor Center with new offices for Easton EDC, a new public restrooms that will be with ADA access. Work expected to be completed later on in October, going into November. New ADA accessible brick walkways in the lot, new ADA accessible parking spots for visitors, and resealed and restriped parking lot. This will transform our visitor center, give us an opportunity with some new technology, so when visitors come to our town, we have a place for them to come that we can provide essential information. Parks and Recs. The Parks and Recs is working on building out a new user infrastructure to view and reserve town facilities and register for camps. This will allow, it'll be easier online reservation and payments that will help individuals who would like to use the ballparks, the pavilions. It'll give us better access online that you can fill that out, make your payment, and get a quicker result. We have been working diligently to upgrade the process, and this is one of the processes that we have for our rec and parks. The comprehensive plan. We've been waiting for a mighty long time for our comprehensive plan. This planning and zoning department commission are working diligently on the comprehensive plan. It has been updated. We have gotten public feedback. All the chapters have been drafted, reviewed. The final draft is ready. There will, up and coming, will be public opportunities for the public to have some feedback on what is in our comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan will be used to guide us, guide the town in building things and doing a lot of infrastructure things in the town. With this comprehensive plan, it gives us a guide that we can move forward in all the things that we do in the town of Easton. Easton Small Area Plan. The Easton Area Plan project is an update to the existing Easton Housing and Neighborhood Revitalization Plan approved by the town in September 1997. And at that time, the plan was the first small area plan for the town. So over 25 years later, it is time to reassess and update the existing plan to reflect areas, current needs and assets of all opportunities. So the report is expected to be finalized in October, and we will get a presentation on that plan that we can eventually approve that plan. We do, the Affordable Housing Task Force was created early in 2024. The mayor and the council appointed an 18-member task force to address affordable housing in the town of Easton. This task force was established to provide the town of Easton to prioritize recommendations for implementation of policies, regulations, programs, and incentives for further attainable housing in Easton. we're waiting. We should be getting that final report soon, that we can look over what has been discussed and whatever the items that they have come up with that will help us, guide us, dealing with affordable housing in the town of Easton. I just want to say that I do believe that I have an answer for affordable housing in the town of Easton. I think if the town would buy the land, then we could partner with someone else to help build some affordable houses in the town of Easton, and we can control some of the we can control the land aspect of it, and over a period of time, if we have persons that purchase those houses, those individuals will be paying taxes, and eventually we will get our money back. So, but the affordable housing is doing some good work, have been studying and helping us to come up with some clear and concise ways how we can deal with affordable housing, houses that are affordable. The Engage Easton. I'm excited about this Engage Easton because the town of Easton is just proud to announce its new interactive web page called Engage Easton. It is now live and ready for the public to explore. This new digital space allows the public to view, interact with, and give meaningful feedback on the upcoming and current projects that are going on around the town. The platform was chosen by the town's planning and zoning department as a way to inform and engage local communities in the importance of planning, and it will help with the update of the comprehensive plan. We're excited about this because you can go online, you can see the projects that are underway. I believe right now we have about 6 that are actively on the Engage Easton. It is a clear website. It's a website that is available to you, and the website, it has the capability to be updated and adapted to whatever our needs are. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for this website, and if you have an opportunity, it would be good for you to go on the website and look up and see how you can click and put some suggestions in there and see how it works. And so we're excited about the town having another opportunity to see the transparency of what's going on in the town and have an opportunity to have some input on the projects that we have in town. So those are all the things that I have for presentation. I'll pause here. If you have any questions that you would like to, you come to the mic, tell us who you are, and then we will do our level best to answer the questions that you had asked.
I'm hearing there. This mic is up too high. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Mooney Jackson, and I live in Ward 4. And I have 2 quick things. One, when you campaigned, you said 10 toes down. I kept hearing that, and that was a euphemism to me that you're going to get something done, not study. And I'm very concerned about your bringing to us tonight additional study for the affordable housing, when in Ward 4, at least 2 major structures have gone up. One Doverbrook, and the other at the corner of West and Port Streets. Both are not affordable. They used to be available to low-income and moderate-income families. And I understand that at Doverbrooks, I know several people who made application. They're asking for some kind of proof of $600 discretionary available funds for housing. Now, I expect my council person to be proactive in doing something, not just studying the issue, because what's happening is that our citizens, as we said during the campaign, they're not able to find decent, affordable housing. Senior citizens, and I know one right on the corner of Port and, I can't think of this, not Clay, but the, what's the one after Clay? Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, they're having to move, and there's no place that they've been great citizens, and they need housing that's on one level, and there isn't anything for them. So I really want you to investigate how to reduce the cost for those housing, the housing that's already, oh, you can't hear me? Oh my goodness. All that wonderful information. Oh, okay.
There it is.
Okay, yeah, how about that? Okay, well, I'm not gonna repeat myself. I think some of you heard me right.
Oh, yeah.
Affordable housing,
Yeah.
we don't have it. And the study is not getting it for me. You know, we've been studying, and somebody has to be proactive to stop the building well, not stop the building, but create a space for people who don't have large incomes. And that's what I ask you to do, and to get back to us about your specific plan and how you have approached Don Bibb at Doverbrook, and I think he has the one down on the corner of Port and West. And then there are a lot of people who are losing their homes, and I know 2 people who've called you about their homelessness. Now, anyway, I know that they have, and I know that they're still homeless. One went to the shelter, and but that's not you know, a long-term plan. And the final thing is Hammond Street. I've gotten calls now because they're asking that we have some kind of traffic calming device, because there are lots of children who play out there, and cars go zooming down the street without care and concern. So whether that's speed bumps or some other things, that you would have signs that would make it safer for the children. So those are the 2 issues that I bring to you, and I hope to hear specifically from you on that, please.
So let me just address one thing that you said. You want to hear what I've been doing for Doverbrook, and I've talked to Don Bibb, and I was quite concerned when the initial date was given for opening of Doverbrook. And so I did have a conversation with him. If you remember, or when we had our council meeting, we had Don Bibb at the council meeting. And then at that point, I questioned him regarding the things that were said in the community about that facility. And so when you say something about you need $600, I'm not familiar with why individual would need $600, but I will follow up regarding the need for $600 for the apartment. Or is it, because I know one thing was the credit check. And then some people had already were on the list, and they had to come off the list because of something that went on with HUD, and HUD had them do something differently, and Don Bibb came to explain that. But I was quite concerned how the things were being addressed there. But the place is open, and they're looking to start to fill it, and we will probably have some ribbon cutting or something of that nature in the near future. But people are now being processed to be living in that facility, and there are some people who are living there now.
No, I'm well aware of that, and I'm well aware of those who have moved in, and I know many of them who have not been allowed to come back.
Sure.
I know several who've been on the waiting list and who made application more than one time. And maybe the town has to have a conversation with HUD, because what's happening is that a lot of it is discriminatory, in my view, okay, and that should not be allowed. And the discrimination has to do with maybe prior arrest or those kinds of things that really can be challenged somehow. And we need to not just let it happen and have a conversation. We have to do something. And so that's the challenge that I'm asking you to take up.
All right, thank you.
My name is Joe Minner, and I have just 2 things I would like to raise in people's minds. One, what is going to happen with the old hospital? That's been very silent, but it could have significant impacts on the whole town and certainly on Washington Street there and the neighboring streets. So that's one of the things that I would like to have some information on, if there is any information right now. And then the second one is just kind of a complaint. I live on South Harrison Street, which isn't the widest street. It's not as wide as Brooklyn's. But all of a sudden, we're getting a surfeit of humongous pickup trucks that are being parked not only on that street, on other streets in town, and it's really impacting people being able to simply drive down the street without doing this kind of thing all the time. So those are two things that I'd just like to raise.
Well, let me, the chief is here, and we'll let him speak to that.
I'm here in my AV capacity to do Mike investment.
Can go. Come up to the
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't really have much to say about humongous pickup trucks. It's the first time I've had a complaint with them on for being out there, but I'll take a look at it.
One of the problems, and I think some people are getting better at this, is that they're large enough that if they do not close their mirrors in, there's no way they can be inside the squares.
Okay.
The parking squares.
And that's on Harrison, or what section of Harrison?
Harrison and just to the north of Brooklands.
Okay. I'll take a look at that.
But it's in other places in town also, when you drive by, it's pretty tight.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, so in reference to what that gentleman was saying, there is also a problem where the big giant teddy bear fresh truck stops right across from Root Burger. Because you not realize it's that whole lane, and then the other cars, if you have to stop and go, or you don't know if somebody's going to go or whatever. But the problem is the truck is blocking the street. Don't they have delivery hours or something?
On Aurora Street?
On Aurora and right there.
Right there, right there.
And Dover, yeah.
And just to answer your question about the hospital, battery's dying. Just to answer the question about the hospital, there's a process that's starting as far as we're starting to have some meetings about it, to do some planning. In fact, Reverend Davis is going to be on that committee to start studying, what to do with the hospital. We're going to get a lot of public input for that, because it is a huge piece of property right in the middle of town. It's going to have a huge impact on everybody in this community, what ends up happening with that property. So there's going to be a lot of input requested from the residents, especially Ward 4 and Ward 2 residents, because those are the ones who are living in that area. So yeah, you're going to start to see some information coming out about meetings, public information meetings. So.
Quick question.
Hi, I'm Kevin Gibson. My wife asked me to bring this up. She's not feeling well tonight, but she runs on the Rails to Trails 3 or 4 days a week with a running partner. And she asked if we could step up enforcement. I know you have a shortage of officers, but e-bikes, e-scooters, they come up really fast and they can't be heard. And they're constantly dodging.
So we've had discussions about the e-bikes and things. So it's in our plan to see under the chief's purview, and we understand that there's a lot of e-bikes that are in the town of Easton, and a lot of different bikes on the rails and trails. And so we've had discussions, and the chief is fully aware of the e-bikes and the rails and trails, and he's working diligently on that to address that issue. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, you want me back up?
No,
Oh.
somebody behind you.
I thought that was going to be interesting.
And once we get that information, we will make sure the public is aware of what's going on.
Robin Page, what are the rules? I think it would be nice to have rules posted on the rails to trails. Are the e-bikes or anything electrical allowed on the trail? Can we say you need not to be on the trail? Do we know?
The current, when we sat down, what, a year ago, 2 years, year and a half ago, we decided to follow the current state law, which has different types of e-bikes, and depending on what type it is, depends on what could actually be on the rail figure. We are actually just right now compiling a bunch of information to try to, because it's become a bigger problem than it has been in the past. We're getting a lot of complaints on that to decide how should we address this kind of comprehensively, because it's not only just e-bikes now, it's scooters, it's these little tiny motorbikes, and I'm not sure what they are, if they're electric or gas.
There was one yesterday
there's a number
that
of
was
things.
a motorcycle. It wasn't a scooter, it was a motorcycle. Turned down off of the street and onto rails to trails.
So part of that process is going to be for us also to have enacting ordinances that set, what we can enforce and how we're going to enforce it. So there's a little bit of a process to it, to address it.
So
Heather,
Yeah,
from
just-
Solid Thrive.
Yeah, I'm representing myself as I live in Ward 4, but also in Solid Thrive. The state is doing their own research on what types of e-bikes are allowed in the state parks. A lot of jurisdictions are waiting for that, for them to make a decision to decide. But basically, throttle-only bikes are not allowed really in any state parks. So we're kind of waiting for the chief to come up with legislation, but in the meantime, there is a speed limit on the race trails, so we can choose to add more signage, because if you're in any bike, or whether it's pedal assisted, which should be legal because they allow everybody to enjoy sport biking. The speed limit is still 15 miles per hour, so we can have more signage, we can have enforcement of those types of laws for now. I would agree that we need more be kind when passing, announce when passing, this type of etiquette behavior, so we can push and do more education.
And that leads me to another related, and I was wondering if anybody would be interested in starting a Rails to Trails steward organization, where we kind of, if you're on the trail and you see something that isn't right, you have the confidence and the training to say, this isn't right, you need to abide by the rules. So, but that's forming a group. But I would be interested if anybody else is interested.
I will say, having been to all three of these town hall meetings that we've had so far, and I plan on being at the one on Monday with Ward 1, several things have popped up repeatedly, and the safety on rails to trails is definitely one that has popped up repeatedly. Traffic and housing, those seem to be the three things that are most concerning. And it's one of the reasons why we're having these meetings, is because we need to hear from you, all of you, which we are definitely hearing, and then we can go back and we can put together some piece of legislation that the Easton PD can enforce when it comes to rails to trails. The fact that you said something motorized, which should not be on the rails to trails to begin with, it says it right there, and also making sure we have enough police officers that they can actually have a unit dedicated to monitoring rails to trails. Right now, they do have officers on there, but it's not a consistent, on a consistent basis, due to the shortage of police officers in town. So these are all reasons why we had these meetings, is so we can hear from you and work with you. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lillian R. Potter Arnold. I have a question. You spoke about the Affordable Housing Task Force. My question is, do the town of Easton have a set amount for what they consider starting off that would, they consider as affordable housing as to what the amount should be? Or is that something that the task force is looking at? I know I've read articles in the paper wherein there may be some housing that's being built, and it may be termed when the companies are coming in asking to build, and they say they're going to be affordable. So do you have a starting figure for what you know would be affordable for the citizens of Easton? Or do the companies that's come in and say, well, we have affordable housing and it's going to start at this amount of money? Or you're saying that they tell you what they're going to be starting for affordable housing? Or do the town of Easton have a set amount that they consider affordable housing? Because you know your citizens and what your citizens can really afford to start with.
Yes.
Go ahead, because Don, he's on the Affordable Housing Board, and so I want him to help answer that question because he works with them. So I'm not quite sure. I want to hear what you say because I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
So it's all based on the numbers that the town uses. It's all based on percentages of AMI, which is area median income. All right, and I'm going to mess up the numbers, and I promise I will get you the specific numbers. But basically, what has happened because of inflation over the last couple of years, and a perfect example is the apartments over on Elliott Road that are being built. When that was first being introduced, now while it was not affordable prices, it was probably more along the lines of workforce kind of housing, maybe a step up. They were talking about apartments going for about $1,300, $1,400 a month, which is still crazy for me, but $1,300. Those are now going for $1,650 due to the increase in prices, and they base it on the AMI, the area median income, and the percentages. So for affordable housing, AMI for like workforce housing would be about 80% of the AMI. And I'll give you my contact information so I can get you the specific numbers because I'm worried I'm going to mess this up. But for affordable housing, it would be percentage lower. I think it's more like 60% of area median income is what it would need to be. And our area median income for Talbot County is $115,000. For the town of Easton and Mayor, 88,000.
99.
It's in the 90s, yeah. So there you go. Which we are also, the Affordable Housing Board is looking at changing some of these numbers that we go by because $115,000, I mean, that's an absurd amount of money. And the average hard-working person in Easton is not in that range. And so we need to readjust the numbers that we're using. If you look at census data, it's more like the average salary in Easton is more, is lower than that, significantly lower than that. So we need to change that, and that's something Jim Bent, who's head of the Affordable Housing Board, that they're looking at. You're trying to find some different numbers to use to make it so that when a developer comes in and says, okay, I want to build affordable housing, it's like, okay, this is what somebody who is making a family income of $50,000 a year, this is what they can afford. It's not 80%, it's something different. So, but I'll give you my contact information. If you email me, I'll send you the specific numbers.
Okay,
So.
thank you. And the next question, for Engage Easton, you said there are 6 projects on that website. Could you tell me what those 6 projects are?
Do you want residential or commercial? Because we can give you both.
I don't know, you just, because I haven't gone there, so.
You know
I
the
just wanted to
specific
know
6
what
of them?
There's, our comp plan, I think, is on there. I can look it up right now and see what planning and zoning is put on there. But the East End plan is going to be on there. We have a number of commercial development pipeline is on there, and planning and zoning was working on putting the residential pipeline on there.
And if anybody wants to stick around at the end of the meeting,
We can bring it up on the screen.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, can I just say something on that issue? The median income is usually 30% of the wealthier citizens in this county. And it does not take into consideration the income of the majority of the citizens. And we've been talking about that for a long time, that each jurisdiction not only has a responsibility, but can lower the cost, based on the income of the citizens. And so the appeal has been for you all to do something like that. And so far it hasn't tracked with what people are able to purchase and what their income is. And we're driving the citizens out of Talbot County into other counties. And so I just to give the rhetoric, I don't mean, to be so aggressive, but it just bothers me that we've been talking about this for eons, eons, and nobody is proactive, is doing something about it, because, if you look at why people are complaining, it's very clear that we're not addressing the issues. So when can we find out when you're going to lower this requirement of this 30% or lower the affordable housing to be a real affordable data point based on the income of average citizens? What date can we have for that? We need some time frames on this, because studying and studying and studying, it does not do anything for the pocketbooks of the people, who want to live here. And you're pushing out people who've been here forever, and so I just find it very tiring to hear the same thing over and over again, and we don't see any progress. So I'm hoping that you're hearing the citizens and that you do something so that people can live, and then in this economic crisis that we're experiencing all over, with people losing their jobs and losing income and having to stand in food lines, it's even more of a crisis for us to address it now. In the next 90 days, I'd like to hear something. So there is no affordable people.
You guys going to trust that or not?
Good.
Yvonne Freeman, I'm tired too. So I'm talking about the area on Glenwood Avenue, the stream there, that something was supposed to happen. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. 25, almost 30 years, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I'm working on my third mayor, Mayor Megan. I'm on my third mayor trying to address this. When you first came here, you came to my house, you saw it. The people before you, they came to my house, they saw it, and then the people before that. So I'm literally talking 30 years. So we've been meeting, and what I'm talking about, there's a stream behind my home. When my father purchased that back in the 70s, you could basically step over it. As Easton developed nice projects, building up nice projects, more water comes through, bigger pipes. This stream has gone so big now, you need a bridge to get across it. So my property backs up to the elementary school. And as my property is eroding, so the old house that was there, if it was still there, it would be in the ditch. So as the new house I got, I had them bring the house forward and put it up on 6 blocks and not the original 4, because of the fear of what was going to happen with that ditch. I've gotten promise after promise it was going to happen. So we started something early this year, or actually last year we started talking about this, and something was supposed to get done. And to my understanding that it was going to get done this year, when the school closed, while they were out, they were going to do something. I hadn't heard anything. I received a letter in August saying, yep, we're still talking about this, we're going to do this. Hadn't heard anything. October, I called them, hey, what's going on with this project? Next year, we're going to get you. So they've put it off once again. So I'm sure something's going to get done. I'm not going away. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be in the house. It's an inherited house. I'm not going to go away. But it keeps nice, beautiful projects. You built that school, the elementary school behind me, in 3 years. $1 million elementary school has been built. But I'm still waiting for something to happen with this ditch because I keep getting promises and promises. And like I said, I'm on my third mayor. I started off with Mayor Butler. So I'm still waiting. So this is my voice just to be heard. I'm still waiting. So now it's official on record. I'm still waiting.
My name is Janet Adams. This is my first time at one of these meetings. And I wanted to say that I moved to Easton in 2014. And I've always loved the trees that you have here in this town. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful town. I can remember I would stop and just coming through, I would stop and take pictures of the trees, especially in the fall. Now I live on Talbot Street, and just this week, a large tree branch fell on my neighbor's car. A small one had fallen on my car a couple of years ago, and someone told me that people did not want the trees cut down. But I think if you look around, there are some trees that are, I guess, at the peak of their lifespan, and they need to be cut. Because what is happening, some of the trees are the branches are falling. The other thing, they are ruining the sidewalks. So that when you try to walk, you walk a certain distance and then you have to get in the street because the tree has destroyed the sidewalk. And on some of the streets I notice in Easton, those things have been corrected. However, it had not been corrected on Talbot Street. And I'm sure that there are some other streets in Ward 4 that have had the same problem. So I guess my question is there a way that you could sort of look around, have the people to look around to see if there's some trees that need to be removed, and if so, to go ahead and remove them, and maybe plant something smaller or do something to make it so that the trees don't uproot the sidewalk. Maybe there are some trees that need to be pruned. They did come they are working this week on my street. They cut down 2 trees, and I looked today and there's a large tree that needs to be pruned because there are several dead branches on the tree. But it might be a good idea to go around the town and look at those trees and look at those sidewalks and see, because number one, I'm afraid someone's going to be hurt with those sidewalks, especially an elderly person.
So we've been looking at those trees and the sidewalks, because some of the trees are in telephone poles are right in the sidewalk. So where we have those telephone poles, we've been talking about that they need to take those wires and put them underground because they shouldn't be in the middle of the sidewalk. And we have a lot of people who are talking about the trees. We're looking at those because the trees do some damage. If you live around, they'll do some damage to your sidewalk. And we're quite concerned because the sidewalk is where you walk. You shouldn't have to move down into the street because the tree is. But we're looking at those, and we our last meeting we talked about the telephone poles and the trees in the sidewalks and how we can do it better. So I want you to know that we are addressing those issues and looking at how we can do it better. And some things that are going to cost us a little more money to do it the right way. By bringing some of those telephone poles, and we have to put them underground so we can have a flat surface to walk on. So.
And with the trees, if the tree is the reason, if it's the town tree that's between the sidewalk and the street that is causing the problem to the sidewalk, the town will come back and fix the sidewalk. So that's not the cost that obviously the homeowner would have to worry about, or the property owner would have to worry about. And we're doing that all through town. There are.
And if you say if it is a town tree that's ruining the sidewalk,
That's right.
the town will fix the sidewalk.
That's right. Yep, because it's not your
Everybody
tree.
hear that? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any plans to put underground the wires in the town, or is that too big of an undertaking?
So just one of the ones that Reverend Davis is referring to is Port Street. Port Street frustrates us because if you walk down the sidewalk on Port Street, there's telephone poles right in the middle of the street, right in the middle of the sidewalk. Just if we wanted to underground just from west to the end of Port Street where the bypass is, or where it would probably cost us over $1 million. So that'll give you an idea.
So no.
It's incredibly expensive to do so.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Pamela Gates, and I live on Hagen Street. And hearing you saying that you're going to try to put the collection of wires on telephone poles underground, but you mentioned, will that be in all of the streets or just the couple of streets you mentioned, like Port Street? My house has like 3 of those big things right on the corner of the telephone pole. I've looked through town in my area, and I think Higgins, those group of streets are the only ones that really have telephone poles and wires. The other ones are already in the ground. And I just thought it was odd. But, even though that is not in our ward, it's still a safety of our. So is there any way, my question is, are you going to include other streets other than the one you mentioned?
I'm sure we would love to lower them or put them underground whenever possible. Even the Port Street one that Reverend Davis and I mentioned, the fact that it's going to cost us over $1 million just to put them underground, just for that one stretch of road, that is the problem. It's the cost. It's not necessarily that we don't want to do it or that we can't do it. It's just the cost to the taxpayer in the town. But as we move forward, if that money becomes available and we can go to other streets and do that, then I would love to see it, because I'm sure Reverend Davis and everybody would love to have sidewalks free of telephone poles that people.
They sit right out of the street, right at the edge of the curb, and telephone poles sitting.
Unfortunately, it's just an astronomical cost to put it underground. Goldsboro Street is another example. If you go down Goldsboro Street by the country school, same thing, telephone poles right in the middle of the sidewalk. We're going to try to do the best that we can.
Thank you.
So we thank all of you for coming tonight. We're going to conclude our meeting, and we're going to try to bring up, for those who want to see the Engage Easton on the screen, and you can come up here and look at it a little closer. Listen, we're going to continue to have these meetings throughout the town. We're following the lead of our council president, and I think it's a good idea that we move it around to every location, that every citizen within our community has an opportunity to speak with the council person and get information, updated information that we're trying to provide now. So we're having another meeting for Ward 1 on Monday, and then after that, the president of the council will evaluate how we're going to move forward to provide this same kind of information session to the whole community. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in, give everybody else a chance. I'm Dan McDermott, 810 Arcadia Street. It was certainly sad and disillusioning last winter when Neighborhood Service Center came to the county and town and talked about how they didn't have enough money to help people pay their utility bills. I think it's going to be worse this year because I don't really see anybody riding in from the federal government or the state government to help us out. So we got to take care of our own. I'd like to see the town get together with Easton Utilities, have some sort of work session, and figure out how we're going to take care of our friends and neighbors who can't afford electricity, can't afford the internet, because certainly you can measure poverty now by not being able to access the internet. Easton Utilities is a great utility. The grid is always up, rarely down. I've seen people digging holes in the street to repair a water main in the middle of the night, in the middle of the winter. They're great people, but they're also the people we have to buy utilities from. And I think I'd like to see the town and Easton Utilities get together and talk about this before it's a crisis. And it's going to be. And we need to figure out, we've got to take care of our own here and now, because we can't depend on programs we've depended on before coming down. They just simply are not going to do that. So I'd like to see us do everything we can so that people don't have to worry, don't have to beg for money, and go through the indignity of that level of poverty just to have electricity and the internet and gas. So I'd like to ask you all to convene that, do that on behalf of those among us who can't pay their bills.
I get it. It's a tough time. It's a tough time in our whole country. And you're right. We can't expect anything coming, not a lot of money from the state of Maryland or the federal government to help us going forward. So we hear you, and we will work diligently on having some conversation with Easton Utilities to help provide some services if it's available. And I think Easton Utilities is a good organization that has previously worked with people that could not afford to pay their electric bill. So we thank all of you for coming tonight. We ask that you have traveling mercy to your destinations, to your homes, and keep looking in the paper, keep looking up, give us a call that we can follow up with what we're saying tonight, that we can be of benefit to you and our community. Thank all of you for coming.